Is it possible to learn English alone? Watch this video and find out. Coming up. Hey student, I am teacher Prix and I'm going to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Thank you so much for watching this lesson. Now let's get down to business, shall we? Sometimes people look at my videos here on YouTube and they think, whoa, it's so easy for her. She went to Harvard. She lived in Boston for 2 years. That's why she knows English. That's why she's fluent. Or some people think that, but I don't have anyone to practice my English speaking with. I'm alone. So it's impossible for me to improve. And you know what the problem is? These ideas. Oh, she traveled, that's why she knows English. Oh, it's impossible to learn because I'm alone. These ideas will create limitations in your ability to learn because they block your mind, and learning English gets a little bit more difficult. Maybe you don't know me so well, but even though I went to a traditional school, traditional methods, okay? Twice a week, there was a teacher, I went to school, I had a book. But you know what happened? I had to study alone. The school was very different. I'm from a small town in the countryside of São Paulo in Brazil, and the class was different. I didn't have a teacher helping me. I had 5 minutes with the teacher. He gave me the grammar explanation. Oh, this is verb to be. You ask the questions, affirmative, negative, blah, blah, blah. Now, go. Go do the listening exercise, study, do the lessons alone. There was no speaking lesson, conversation classes. I had no friends to speak English to me. I didn't have internet to study English. So, is it possible to learn English alone? Absolutely, totally. Because I learned, and I know many people who did. So it's not about where you are or the conditions you are at. It's about what you do with what you have. This is what I learned when I was very young. It's what you do with what you have. I had very little. I did my best with the little I had, okay? Now, based on this explanation, I think you could be wondering right now, your next question could be, okay, but how? How can I do that alone? And I think that's your question. I imagine you believe it's possible, but there's something inside you that asks, okay, but how? How do I do it? And based on that, I'm going to share 3 tips with you that I used on my journey to fluency when I was alone with no internet, with no speaking lessons, no speaking friends, very little access to information. And I made it happen. And so can you, okay? Because if you're here watching this lesson, you have more access to information than I did many years ago, okay? Now, guys, tip number 1 is change your mindset. The mind, okay? Why? If you don't believe you can learn, guess what? You will never learn. I will repeat this. If you don't believe you can learn, you will never learn. And here's the thing, guys. It doesn't matter where you go. If you go to Australia, to Canada, to Harvard, like I did. Even if you have a teacher, it doesn't matter. You could have the best teacher. You could go to the best university, like I was, like I have been. I've been to Harvard. I studied there. I studied with the best professors of the world. I had access to the best strategies, the best techniques that I use with my students today in the academy. But you could have access to that as well, the best teachers, the best courses. Go to Canada, go to Australia, America. But none, zero, none of that matters if you don't change your mind, how you see yourself. If you believe that you cannot learn English, that English is too difficult, that you are too old to learn English, that you are too busy to learn English, you need more time to learn English, you will never improve, no matter how hard. I try to tell you that. I have worked with clients, students from my academy who lived abroad, lived in the United States, lived in Australia, lived in Canada, studied abroad, went to schools internationally, and they could not speak or understand English. How did I help them? Well, the first help was here in the mind, okay? Maybe you don't know that, but I am a professional coach and a master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming. And I combine neuroscience and language strategies to help my students unlock their minds, okay? So with the right mindset and the right language strategies, they improved. So how do you change your mindset? Here's a question that, a $1 million question. How do you change your mind? How do I change my mentality, Teacher Prix? Well, guys, the first thing, you are here. This is a start, okay? So congratulations. I'm happy you are taking action watching this video. Now, what I can tell you is, stop focusing on what you don't have, on what you don't have access to. Because we waste precious time and energy focusing on what we can't change, on what we don't have. So start focusing on what you can, on what information you have, because that's the first step to changing your mindset. And this leads me to tip number 2. The internet has a lot of free resources. Your challenge is learning how to use it. That's what you need to do. You need to learn how to use the internet in your favor. And this is perhaps the biggest problem in society nowadays, modern society. There's so much free stuff, but people don't know how to use the free lessons available. And as a result, they always feel like they need more lessons and more teachers and more books and more videos and more grammar books and more ideas and more lessons. And they end up more confused, lost, overwhelmed with so much information. Okay? Now, what I like to do as a person who studies English, who studies Italian alone, I limit the free resources I use to study English and Italian. Okay? I put a limitation. I limit the free stuff I use. I don't follow many teachers or many websites, too many books, or I finish a book before I use another one, okay? So that's something you can do. I don't watch too many videos from too many different people. I limit the number of things I do on a weekly basis. You also need to understand the difference between passive and active work. Just because you are here on Instagram and you read a post in English with a quick vocabulary lesson, this is not studying, okay? This doesn't mean you're studying. So you need to understand the difference between active time and passive time. It's the 21st century. English is everywhere. So you need to know the difference between study time and passive time when you're just scrolling down the feed and checking things in English. Maybe you heard something in English. That's not studying, okay? So students fail to organize, to use the internet to organize their routine. So if you want to learn English alone, which I told you is possible, you need to organize your practice. Now, before I give you tip number 3, if that is happening to you right now, if your routine is disorganized, you are feeling a bit lost, and you don't know how to organize your plan, you need a direction to help you get back on your routine and save more time and energy. I have a 21-day study plan cycle that will help you reorganize your study plan, okay? It'll help you improve your English speaking, listening, and vocabulary much faster and consistently because you will have direction on what you need to do, okay? So check the link in the descriptions of this video and get all the information you need. Now, guys, tip number 3, and this is my favorite, okay? Don't wait for the perfect circumstances. Now, what do I mean by that? I talk to many of you on Instagram, email, comments, and one common complaint I get from you guys is, teacher, I don't improve my English because I don't have anyone. I don't have a friend to speak English to. And because of this, many students don't keep going. They don't work on their English. They don't work on their speaking because they are waiting for the perfect circumstance. And maybe that circumstance will take a long time to happen. So not having a friend does not mean you cannot speak English. Because I know I didn't have a friend to speak English to me. So you will need to get creative with your speaking regimen, your speaking routine. But you need to practice. Don't wait for the perfect scenario. Your perfect scenario is today. Use what you have. And this is connected with tip number 1, which is the mentality. Because this is a mindset. This is something you believe that is limiting you, limiting your ability to improve and continue. I have several, not one, I have several videos here on my channel where I give you tips, ideas of how to practice your English speaking alone. So don't wait. Just this afternoon, I was practicing my English speaking because I'm studying English at a level where it is difficult to talk to someone. So I have to be creative with my practice to improve my English. Because I also want to improve. I want to be better. I want to brush up on my vocabulary, no more advanced stuff. So I need to practice that as well. So this afternoon, I was practicing my English speaking, answering a challenging question by myself because I wanted to use some words that I have been learning. So you see, I still follow this practice because I know how important it is. I don't wait for the perfect circumstance when I can call my friend from America and we can talk. Absolutely not. So this is an important tip. Now, guys, if you want to be excellent, you need to do the work. If you want to be fluent, you have to do the work. If you want to be better, you have to make the change that will make you that better person. But that takes process. That takes commitment. But more importantly, that takes changing your mindset. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the like button. But other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!